Cadet 13 was not his real name, of course. His designation was a string of unpronounceable syllables, known only to the administrators of the Interstellar Combat Academy. He was a Zelkar, 8 feet tall, armored with chitinous plates, born in the gravity wells of a black star. And he was terrifying. He had single-handedly flattened a Gorlax berserker during sparring, crushed a Ktharn training drone with a single blow, broken the Academy's gravitrack record by sprinting through 3 GS of pressure. The other cadets, reptilian, silicon-based, even synthetic, steered clear of him. His yellow, compound eyes glowed with something that felt less like rage and more like dispassionate inevitability. Instructors whispered his nickname behind his back. 13. Bad luck in Terra numerology. Fitting. So when the newest member of Class Delta arrived, a human, barely 5.5 feet tall, with large brown eyes and an apologetic smile, everyone braced for the moment she would crack. Her name was Lieutenant Ari Moreno, and she brought a cat. No one had seen a Terran feline before. Pet life forms weren't generally allowed on campus, but apparently, Ari had invoked a clause in the Earth-Terran Alliance Compact about emotional support companions. The administration, too afraid of the political fallout, had allowed it. And so the cat came, too. It was a sleek black thing with luminous green eyes, named Miso. Cadet 13 noticed her on the first day. Not the cat, Ari. She was seated on the mess hall's outer edge, a tray of nutrient gels pushed aside, and Miso perched on her lap. Her eyes tracked 13 as he walked through the room, armor clinking softly, his bulk displacing the very air around him. She didn't flinch. He stopped walking. She blinked at him, and then she smiled. Hey, 13. The entire mess hall froze. Cadet 13 froze. No one had ever spoken to him like that. No title, no avoidance, no fear. Just recognition. Hey, 13. He tilted his head, the multi-jointed movement disorienting to those unfamiliar. His voice, when it came, was a deep reverberation like tectonic plates grinding. You address me as 13. Ari shrugged. Everyone else does. I figured you didn't mind. He stared at her, then at the cat. The cat stared back. He turned and left. The next day, they were assigned partners for zero-gravity melee drills. Cadet 13 towered above her in the prep room. His combat harness gleamed with reinforced alloy. She wore a standard suit, light armor, no exoskeletal assistance. An ant paired with a tank. You are fragile, he stated. You are observant, she replied with a grin. Pairing is unwise. Maybe, but maybe I can teach you something. He made a sound, a low click, like a blade being drawn. It could have been amusement, or a warning. She floated toward the training zone, her movements confident, unafraid. The cat, locked in her quarters, would have been yowling by now. Ari missed her already. The bout was over in 32 seconds. 13 had launched a high-speed lunge. Ari had twisted just out of reach and countered with a kinetic reversal technique he'd never seen before. He lost his balance in the zero-G field and slammed into the wall. Instructors stared in stunned silence. You cheated, he said, dislodging himself. She tapped her helmet. I'm human. We invented cheating. She drifted past him with a wink. The academy was never the same again. They weren't friends, not immediately. But a pattern emerged. 13 would find himself watching her during joint exercises. She didn't seem interested in besting others, only improving herself. Her strategies were elegant, her techniques adaptive, and her humor constant. No one could stay mad at her. Not even the war-forged Cadet 13. And then one night he saw the cat again. He was returning from a simulation chamber when he noticed movement in the corridor ahead. A black shadow, low to the floor. Miso. She stared up at him, tail twitching. Cadet 13 had faced plasma mines and razor hounds. He had neutralized a mine screamer hive on assignment. But when Miso looked at him, directly unblinking, he felt something alien. He turned to walk away. She followed. Claws clicked softly on the polished floor. He turned a corner. She turned too. He increased his pace. So did the cat. Eventually, he ducked into a supply alcove and waited, utterly still. Minutes passed. Silence. He stepped out, and Miso was right there, perched on a crate, tail lazily draped. He let out a low hiss. "Cease your pursuit, predator." Miso blinked and yawned. Ari laughed for nearly 5 minutes when he finally told her, "You're afraid of my cat?" "I fear no creature," he rumbled. "Aha. But you avoid her. She follows, watches, anticipates. She's just curious. She stares into my soul. She likes you." I refuse to face her. Ari wiped tears from her eyes. 13. You're the most feared cadet here. The instructors use you as a threat, and you're running from a 10-pound house pet. She is not bound by honor. She lures with softness and strikes without warning. She needs blankets. She needs with intent. Eventually, he relented. For training purposes, he told himself. Exposure therapy. Warrior discipline. He visited Ari's quarters one evening. She opened the door, smirking. Miso sat regally on the bed. "Come in, brave one," she said. He hesitated at the threshold. Miso meowed once. A small sound, but it carried the weight of judgment. He stepped in. For several minutes, no one spoke. Ari tinkered with her gear. 13 stood rigidly in the corner. Miso observed from the bed, tail twitching in Morse code. Then the cat jumped down, padded silently across the floor, and brushed against his leg. 13 flinched. His subdermal armor clicked online. "Relax," Ari said. "She's claiming you. This is a dominance ritual." "Kind of. Just let her rub." Miso walked in a slow circle around him, then sat. Her head tilted up. 13 stared. And then, tentatively, he reached down and touched the top of her head. The room didn't explode. She purred. The noise was strange, low, vibrating. He studied her. Her eyes closed in pleasure. "She sings," he said, astonished. Ari laughed softly. "She accepts you." He stood for a long time in silence. "I do not understand this softness," he admitted. "Yet I find I do not object." "That's the trick," she said. "She doesn't need to fight. She already wins." By the end of the cycle, Cadet 13 was still the Academy's most formidable force. But something had shifted. He no longer dined alone. Ari sat with him, swapping stories about human literature and ancient Earth snacks. Miso often sat on his armored shoulder, tail flicking near his mandibles. The other cadets no longer feared him, they respected him. He showed them Ari's combat tricks. He sparred more gently. He even cracked a joke once. When the final wargame simulations came, 13 and Ari were paired as squad leaders. They devised a strategy that left even the AI generals baffled. Their team won with 0 casualties. After the ceremony, Ari leaned on his armored side, sipping synth cider. "You did good, 13. "You too, Ari." Miso meowed from her carrier. He looked down at her and, for the first time, smiled. "You are formidable, little predator." "I submit." Miso blinked slowly. Ari laughed. "She accepts your surrender." "Of course," 13 said. "She is the true commander." And somewhere in the depths of the galaxy's most dangerous academy, a cat purred like a queen on her throne, and a warrior stood proudly at her side.